Welcome to MBC, where we talk money. We've got banter. We're doing it for the culture.
Serial winner. Jeez.
Welcome to MBC, Money, Banter, Culture, where we talk money. We've got banter, and of course, we're doing it for the culture. You've got myself, Izzy. You've got Jermaine.
Yo.
And you've got Yilmar.
How we doing?
We've got a special guest today, so thank you for giving us your time today.
Special guest.
You guys, come on.
We've got a very, very, very special guest today.
There you go.
He is young. He's married with a kid, a daughter.
Most important job,
and he is the founder of Vitae London. Thank you for giving us your time.
Worship leader, songwriter, serial winner.
Jeez.
Serial entrepreneur.
Accolades.
There we go.
Someone's in the research group.
You need to be given one proper.
I agree.
Accolades, man. Welcome, man. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thanks for having me. It's a real honor.
So, just recently you've just finished a successful crowdfund.
Yeah, we did.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
So
It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
how much did you end up raising in the end?
So on the Cedars platform, we raised just shy of 110,000. So
Wow.
527 investors, I believe.
570.
Wow.
70?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That shows a lot. So that's huge, man. You know what's crazy? So we actually met you at the Cedars Bite-Size. And obviously me and Yoma were late.
I'm glad you're telling the real story because I didn't know what you guys were planning to say.
Me and Yoma was late, yeah, but Jermaine got there on time. He's the on time guy.
That's right.
And
It's the efficient.
we missed your
It's a shame.
we missed your pitch,
Yeah.
but obviously based on the feedback that we got from Jermaine, it was really good.
Yeah.
And
Because I said to him before he goes on, I hope you're not shy or anything. He just goes on, does his thing, and everybody just clapped at him. Many people didn't even ask you questions or anything. You hit every point,
Thank
and
you.
I was like, wow,
But
this
you've got
guy's
to look at the guy's
impressive.
background though, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah,
The Virgin thing as well. All that stuff that obviously would have boosted the experience, if you see where I'm coming from.
Nah, definitely.
So that would have made that.
No, when he done his pitch, I knew he was a seasoned vet. I knew, boy. So yeah.
Thank you.
but that's interesting because like we always go to all these like bite-sized events, all these investor events. It's kind of like our thing, and I don't recall us ever seeing a black person actually giving a pitch.
First time.
Like, what do you think about that? Yeah.
I can't lie, that hit me hard when it was mentioned on the night.
Oh, they mentioned it.
No, you mentioned it.
Oh,
Yeah.
When you guys said, I was like, what? Really? Like, I was like, so then I started searching because you can see all their previous investments.
Exactly.
And I saw one other black guy, but I think he was from like Germany or something. So obviously he wouldn't have done the bite-sized pitch. But yeah, it was just crazy to me that I've never seen like a black Londoner on the platform.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel? And like, what do you think is missing?
I don't know. It makes me feel like I just feel like there's not enough education within our community around investment. Around because it's funny when I launched Vitae, a couple weeks into running the business, literally the really early days, one of my cousins calls me. He's like, "Oh, bro, let's catch up. I love what you're building." Cool. Sat down with him. The first question he asked me is like, "Okay, so yeah, what's your exit route?"
You're looking at him like,
and
what does
usually
that
like I can think on my feet really quick.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm gonna be real with you. I have no clue what that even means. Like when I launched Vitae, I didn't know what an exit route was. I didn't fully understand equity, investment. I didn't know about any of this. And I think that rings true for so many people within our community. I think we are actually amazing at building business. We're good at creating brands, creating narratives. But one thing that's missing is education around expansion and actually raising finance and thinking bigger.
Education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's massively missing. So it saddens me that there aren't many more of us on the platform. But then I'm glad I went on the platform to show that the barriers that people talk about, they're myths, and it's possible. Yeah.
I think for me, like, the biggest thing that I saw when you did your pitch, obviously, is the fact that you obviously succeeded, and you also managed to retain so much ownership of your business, which is really important. I believe you still own more than 90%.
At least 90, right?
Which is
Wow.
which is unheard of, to be honest with you. A lot of the brands we come across are like, owners might own like 20 to 30%, probably even less at times as well. So it's an achievement. It's an achievement for you.
Again,
90% of what? 1.5 million.
1.6, but we're not.
Millionaire in the building.
I think just go. But just going back to the point you just mentioned, I think because what you see within our communities, and hopefully it actually carries on, is a reverse. We build businesses with the prospect of getting customers, growing a business, but we don't always think about massive expansion.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these white founders potentially might go straight for finance.
Yeah.
So they're looking at ways of raising capital, but then because they haven't fine-tuned the mechanism of making money, they raise this capital, relinquish equity, then they have to raise again. Whereas, like from our perspective, I think it's much more important to focus on building your business first. Raise when you need to, but then you don't have to relinquish so much equity if you run it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that because I invested in myself.
Thank you.
He had to throw that.
He's expecting his watch soon. He's
yeah, we did last Friday.
It's coming.
Putting you under wheels.
No, but what really impressed me is the revenue that you guys are generating already, and from what I remember, it's profitable as well.
Yeah.
Which is another thing, something that is very unique when you see a lot of these businesses.
That's true, you know.
A lot of them are,
not profitable.
Probably 90% of them are loss making.
Yeah.
So that is another box you got to take as well.
I think it's literally just goes back to the point of around focus. Like, I didn't know I could raise finance, so my whole focus was on making money with my business and finding clever ways that didn't cost a lot of money to generate more revenue.
It's the wrong way to go.
So it just that's what everyone else is doing, the opposite, but that's what we focused on. And it just means now that we've raised capital, we know how to deploy it. We know how to we know our cost per acquisition. We know how to scale things up now. So we're in a much better position. So
fantastic.
I mean, we've spoke a lot about obviously the raising the finance bit, but tell us how Vitae kind of came about. Like,
I always say Vitae was birthed out of frustration. So the first frustration being the fact that I was working a job in the city that I just wasn't passionate about. I was a recruitment consultant, worked my way up to be senior within the firm, was making good money, but it just wasn't doing it for me. I needed to do more than just make money. And then the second frustration is the fact that, so my dad's from Ghana. I know you want to slide something.
I wanted to, but I'm holding it.
Okay.
Just know that right now there's Ghana versus Nigeria jollof from the table. Like half. Table is split. It's rare, boy.
But this is just to show you we can live peaceably. but back to my point. So my dad's from Ghana, but my dad actually grew up in a village and was the first in my family line to learn to read and write on his lineage. And he broke a cycle of poverty that was just plaguing our family for years, just through getting an education and being focused. And I go back to Ghana and I meet family members, and so many of my dad's siblings have unfortunately actually passed away, etc. Went down the trap of alcohol, like just being addicted to alcohol and other things. So I just see the importance education really played in his life and his determination. And it just made me think about if there's more children across the continent that we call home that are missing out on education because of basic things. And my wife had visited a charity called House of Wells, and she saw that for as little as £15, £20, £30, you could buy a school uniform for a child for a year. But with that school uniform, it's actually a removal of a barrier to education. It's so basic, but we were just looking at ways to remove barriers. So I kind of combined my passion for the creative world, my passion for fashion and watches with my passion to make a difference. And Vitae was birthed out of the combination of that. So Vitae is Latin for life, and our whole thing's to be the fashion brand changing lives. So every time we sell a watch, we support a child for education.
Amazing, bro.
Thank you.
That is amazing, because like a lot of the time you see, like when you talk about entrepreneurship, you talk about people just doing it for the sake of, you know, making money, but you're actually making a difference. So there's a social impact aspect, and that's very good, because like you're also helping the community, and you never know where these kids you're helping are going to be tomorrow. 100%. But you would have, you know, you would have enjoyed the fact that, you know, you're helping them to actually achieve their potential at some point. That's amazing, man. Well done.
Were you on that trip to the House of Wells? Or
So the very, very first one before Vitae was launched, my wife went before we were married. So this was when we were like, a lot younger, years ago. So she went when, I think it was 2010 or 2011. So yeah, and then she just sent pictures. We were FaceTiming. This is when we were like freshly going out. So a bit of me wanted to impress her. So I was like sending money every month to the charity, supporting children. A bit of trying to impress a bit because I genuinely wanted to help. And then, just from that, I was just kind of brainstorming around ways this could be scalable, because me sending a bit of money from my monthly salary only goes so far. But now the business sends money from hundreds of people's monthly salaries to impact lives. So we just want to scale that and impact more children's lives.
How many kids have you helped? I don't know, you said that's one of the criteria.
It's tricky to gauge, but we've distributed over 2,000 items of uniform. Wow. We've just distributed over 150 solar lights as well.
Solar lights?
Wow.
Yeah.
Acorn. I see wheels.
So that's our new project. So this is great. Solar lights has been a real key focus for us, because so many children, like, I was in a village called Tetrefu in the Ashanti region in Ghana. And while I was there, I just realized, and I was on the ground of a charity called Pen to Paper. So that's the second charity we support now. And when I was with them, we just realized there were so many children that, just because of no electricity at home, they're either traveling for hours and standing under some street lamp, or they're burning kerosene and just to have light. And these solar lights, they don't cost us a ridiculous amount. It means we can gift it to a child every time a watch is sold. And it also means it doesn't actually just impact the child. Last time we were there, we saw that like siblings were all huddling around the lights. The next door neighbor will now come and use the light at night time as well. So it means that with one watch, we're making even more of an impact, which is super exciting.
Wow. Who would have thought that a watch would make such an impact?
I know.
That is amazing. So, just, you know, we were talking about the raising money aspect. Yoma's been discussing this with me earlier, and he wanted to kind of find out, like, how did you go about the Seeders process? Is there any hints or tips you can give with regards to that?
For sure. So Seeders was interesting. It was a bit of a tricky process. As in, outwardly it was really good. Everything went well in the end, but there were some difficult nuances, and just like they're actually really swamped as an organization. They've probably got way too many cases that they're bringing on board in comparison to their team. So we had quite a few hiccups with the whole process.
Can I just, why Seeders over CrowdQ? Did you try both, or?
The thing is, in hindsight, maybe I should have looked more into CrowdQ. The reason I chose Seeders is the cousin I mentioned earlier who advised me, his name's Ashley, and he runs a venture fund called Good Soil.
I've heard about them.
Yeah.
They help black businesses. They're like a VC for black businesses.
Okay.
So not specifically just black business, but that's one of the niches they're focusing on, minority businesses.
Okay.
So they're raising their fund. They've raised like 50 million so far. I think they wanted to do it in the initial round like 25 before they go live.
Wow.
So in essence, as soon as they go live, they're looking to invest in Vitae as well, which is cool. But yeah, so Ashley, who runs Good Soil, introduced me to Ross, who's at Cedars.
Okay.
But at the time, Ross was interning for Ashley at Good Soil. So through that, I've known Ross for a while. So he was like, come on Cedars. And to me, it's just a no-brainer because of that relationship. But in hindsight, maybe I should have seen just what Crowdcube could have offered. Yeah, for sure. But in terms of tips and tricks, I did my first ever crowdfund 2 years ago on a platform called Indiegogo.
Okay.
And it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Talk to us about that way.
So we raised like 22k in a month.
Wow.
So it wasn't like a bad campaign. So outwardly it was a success because our target was 20k. We went 10% over, etc. But then after that whole process, it made me want to really understand crowdfunding because I was like, I'm obviously doing something wrong. I could have raised a lot more money. So for the past 2 years, I've just been religiously studying crowdfunding, trying to understand the mechanisms, how it all works. And then, so in the lead up to Cedars, so we're launching a Kickstarter in October, right?
Oh, okay.
But in the lead up to Cedars wasn't even meant to happen.
Wow.
We'd raised money by
Great accident.
If ever there was one, boy. I'm looking for my own.
What an accident.
we raised money via Backstage Capital, and then I thought, like, the thought of crowdfunding for equity as well, because I've been studying crowdfunding so much, came to my mind. So I thought, let me just put out some tweets, see what happened. So I put out a tweet saying, if we gave you the opportunity to invest, would you be interested? And we just got so many responses. We were just like, I was in shock. So it just made me want to consider it more. And then just going back to the reason why I've gone on this whole path is because one of the biggest tips I'll give anyone is to work backwards in crowdfunding.
Okay.
So have your final goal. So say, for instance, our final goal was 100,000, right? And we know that the average investment is going to be £1,000. That means, and you know that usually it's a 10% conversion when it comes to crowdfunding in terms of emails to. So if I need 100 people to give 1,000, I need at least 1,000 leads who would give an average of 1,000 before I go live, because only 10% are going to convert. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I get what you're saying.
So it's just about working backwards. So with us and Cedars, I looked at what we had in the tank in terms of leads we'd been generating for the past few months since I put that initial tweet out. So I saw that we actually had just over 1,000 people who had signed up, purely organic. And if everyone had given what they said they wanted to give, we would have made like 400k. But I knew for a fact, obviously,
it wasn't.
You just,
there could be circumstances that can affect that.
And it might launch at a season that's not good for people, but it gives you a good gauge,
an indicator of what you potentially raise.
And you know that within crowdfunding, it's usually like 30-30. So 30% usually comes from your community, 30% comes from PR, and 30% comes from the platform that you raise on. So 400k, 10%, 40k, we're aiming for 75. We knew we were going to be in a very strong position to hit the target. So that's the way in which we kind of worked it backwards.
We converted 25% basically.
In essence, obviously some would have come from the platform, and we still need to do the full analytic breakdown. But yeah, we had a really strong conversion from our list. So.
And now, like, you must be happy because you've obviously hit your goal. You've exceeded what you expected, and now you're able to actually finance some of the operations that you have, and it sounds like an exciting future for you, right?
Man, let me tell you, this guy hitting goals from a young age, you know. Winning scholarships, mini mogul awards.
Oh man,
Virgin
this
loan.
guy really did his research.
Accolades.
Backstage capital money, and now crowdfunding. Come on, man. You've been winning from a young age.
At least you know if a Wikipedia page comes up, we'll get
Oh man, that's good. Just so you know, in your history, you've also got endorsement from Richard Branson. Like,
speak about that.
That is huge.
Millionaire.
That is huge. So I guess we're just like interested to.
What's he like?
What's he like?
Basically.
I want to know what he's like.
You know what's crazy? I've met Dangote as well. No?
Mad thing. Dangote, still get fine money.
I want to be Dangote, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, back to Branson.
Okay.
Oh, you want to hit that?
Don't starve us. Like, we want to hear the Dangote thing.
Let's do Branson first.
Branson, but
Branson.
with Dangote, it was a super brief meeting. I had a meeting with the Deputy Chief of Staff for Ghana,
Jeez.
and he was around as well. And a good friend of mine, Denta.
Oh, Denta. So I
she.
used to volunteer for it. That's,
She's amazing. So
amazing.
she introduced me to. And the thing is, I'm gonna be like transparent. I didn't recognize his face at first,
Mad.
and then she was like, "You don't know who that is? That's Dan." And I was like, "Oh, flip!" So I rushed over, spoke to him for a bit. Just really nice, warm guy. But I feel like at the same time he was a bit skeptical, like, "Who's this guy?" But yeah, that was a great chat.
Wow.
But then Branson, with Branson, so there's a thing called Virgin Startup where you can receive some financing.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 10,000 businesses, we were one of 1,000 to receive the finances. Then out of 1,000, they were choosing 12 to become ambassadors. Out of 12, fortunately, we were chosen as one of the 12 to become
Wow.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
12,000 to 1.
Winning competitions.
That's mad.
Even the scholarships.
12,000 to 1, you know, that's crazy.
Serial winner.
That's big.
So we ended up being one of the
Big.
ambassadors. And then out of the 12, they chose 2 to receive like one-on-one mentoring with him and like interview him in front of like a live audience. Unfortunately, I was one of the 2, so yeah, we felt
Wow.
cool.
You know what? It's not fortunate. You know, this is down to persistence.
Thank you.
I'll give yourself the credit, man. You deserve, man. Come on, man.
Round of applause, boy.
Yes. Forget that, man. Let me give him a spot.
Wow. That's amazing, man. So do you still like keep in contact with Branson, or do you still get like...
With Branson, it's a tricky one because it's a thing where if Virgin Startup need me for a certain event, we'll be together and make things happen. But it's not necessarily a thing where I get to have that direct dialogue as much. But for me, the endorsement was more what I needed. Like I'm not chasing like I'm not chasing like the time and the money from him. Like the endorsement
is big enough.
It's as big as I needed. So super grateful for that, for sure.
About black businesses, what is your pet peeves about black businesses? Be honest.
Pet peeves. My pet peeve in life is a spirit of entitlement.
Yeah.
Or like an attitude of entitlement. And so when I hear people make statements like, black people don't support black business and things like that, I think that frustrates me more than anything because I believe our community is actually the most supportive community in the world. Like, type of community in the world, like black people even in America, and like we support our own, like we back our own, we are supportive.
I think so.
I think
I get what he's trying to say, but I think
let me land first. So I think with a lot of business owners, because of the community feel of us as a people, they assume the minute you launch your business, the whole community is going to get behind it, your business is going to blow up. But I think that spirit of entitlement is hindering people from actually producing products that are better than their competitors. It's hindering people from having that sharp customer support. It's hindering people from building like when I look at my business, I'm not even looking at other black businesses, or I'm looking at the best in the market and trying to take them down. Whereas a lot of people may just start their business and be like, why didn't you buy my work? It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
We have to prove a fantastic product.
Prove yourself.
Full stop. No matter if you're what color you are, you produce a product that's better than that in the market. That's the that's the mentality I think people should have. So that would be my pet peeve around black business, is the entitlement mentality from a lot of black business operators. Because if we can actually put in the work, put in the hours, build the products that people genuinely want, we wouldn't even be having a discussion.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what I mean.
I want to know why he disagrees.
No, you know, I think my point of view is slightly different. I feel like we don't have access to the capital as some of the other races may have, if you see where I'm coming from. Obviously, you've been able to get that, but not everyone's going to be in your position. So I feel like that is a big problem.
It looks like you've just been an entrepreneur all your life, basically. It's like kind of ingrained in your blood. When did that come about? Like,
I don't know. It was tricky for me. I think it was just discontentment. Is the best way to put it. Discontentment in jobs that I was working. If I was in any avenue, any arena where I wasn't practicing entrepreneurship, practicing the freedom of creativity, being able to market every day, being able to promote. If I'm not in those environments, I just feel that discontentment. So yeah, for me, it's just.
Where did that come from? Did someone inspire you when you was young, or?
I don't know. I think I've never seen my dad's a pastor.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's never worked for anyone, if that makes sense. So, and he's always been a visionary. So he's built church. He's got 3 churches in England. In the UK. Wow. He's here. Yeah, and then he's got a church in Barcelona, a church in Germany, churches in
that's where it comes from.
Ghana, like
global.
A church in America, in Northern Carolina. So I think that's the example I've always had as someone who wakes up extremely early,
enjoys what they're doing,
loves what they're doing, works extremely hard, goes all out for it. So I think it might be due to also just I actually enjoy. I wouldn't say I enjoy like being known, but I enjoy doing something where what I do matters.
It's worthwhile.
And it's worthwhile, and people recognize me for something positive in the world. So I think a combination of all those things in the mix is why I'm on the path I'm on. Sometimes I do wish I could just work a 9 to 5. Like, honestly, I wish I could work a 9 to 5, go home, relax, watch Netflix. That would be my absolute. That's a dream. Like, if I could be content in a 9 to 5, that would be a dream. But I physically can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it.
But you enjoy what you're doing.
I love it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, happiness.
As long as you've got the happiness, you enjoy what you're doing, the hours don't really matter, do they?
Exactly. So I think that's why, and I think everyone's lane is different. Some people, they're working a job that's a 9 to 5. They absolutely love. They enjoy doing it. The hours just go past like nothing. They're living their best lives. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
I just wish that was me sometimes, but it's not, and I can't help but do what I'm doing. So and sometimes I sit down with my friends, and I'm like, because a lot of my friends are quite entrepreneurial, and I try to like understand why we are the way we are, like why we're wired the way we're wired. But I think it's just a combination of so many different things. It's nature. I found out when I was in Ghana in December that my granddad on my mum's side was actually like a millionaire if you count up all his assets. He ran loads of different businesses. He used to go to like Benin, Togo, neighbouring countries, import goods and sell it across Ghana. But I'd never had a relationship with my granddad, never met him. My mum was one of 25 children. So we didn't get
25, you say?
Yeah. To be honest, back in the days, they used to. It was standard.
So I didn't see any of the money. I didn't. So but when I was in December, I had a moment where I was just feeling emotional because I was just thinking, like, it's just always been in me. Like it's been in me. My granddad was on the same path, buying and selling, growing, scaling business. Like, so a part of me just feels like, it's ingrained in me. So there's that natural part, and then there's nurture as well. There's just my environment, people I've been around, examples I've seen, rap music. Like, there's so much. Because so many people have so much bad to say, negative about like music from our culture. But I'll sit down, like, I'm listening to a Rick Ross track, and I'm like, I need to work hard. I need to get my money up. It's an example to show that you can come from humble beginnings and do anything you want in life. So that's what I draw from.
For me, it's Jay-Z. I'm not gonna lie. Jay-Z. When I listen to his music,
like, people call me like my friends call me Jigger, just for like some of my friends call me Jigger for banter. Just to feel
for banter.
Jigger.
They're definitely gassy.
That's good gas, boy.
I ain't nowhere near a billion yet. But
you know what it is? It comes back to this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
It's the mindset.
I read that book when I was 16.
Oh yeah.
That was the first book I'd ever read from start to finish.
Wow.
Mindset.
And I honestly believe that book changed my life.
Yeah.
The guy's a bit weird. He's doing all these seminars.
Yeah.
But the book has a lot of sense, and it's on YouTube, so anyone can go.
Did you ever play his game Cashflow 101?
It's so good.
It's important.
Oh,
It's
that
important.
game!
I've never played that game.
It just gets your mind into asset
That
building.
game is so good.
I'm gonna check it out.
On Christmas.
Yeah.
And we were we
play that all the time.
At first, we didn't even understand the rules, and then when we fully got it, I was like, "Yeah, my daughter needs to play this."
Absolutely. You need to train that mind already.
In essence, it's a board game, right?
Yeah.
And you basically need
You're
to
in the
work
rat
hard.
race.
You're in the rat race until you can play your cards right, so that your passive income is greater than
Your actual salary.
your actual salary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I love it because it just pushes that mentality.
Yes,
that
It's very practical as well.
passive, push for passive.
Better than
income.
Monopoly?
Nothing really beats it.
They're different games.
So
They're
there's
different
two
games.
that
Cash flow,
deep in my
man.
heart. Monopoly and Risk. Risk for
I've
strategy.
never played Risk.
I've not played
Risk.
this.
Teaches you how to
Have you
keep
played
control.
Monopoly Deal before?
Monopoly
No.
Deal, no.
It's like a card game version. Check it out
No,
because you can play it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
These are good games.
But let's talk about the importance of entrepreneurship for black people. 'Cause we're having a little conversation now. We need more black entrepreneurs so we can practice positive
We need more good
discrimination.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we need people. The problem
to
with a
be
lot
in
of black
position
entrepreneurs.
to give us chances.
No, I'm going to tell you what the problem.
London.
I'll tell you the problem. Let's start with the problem.
Okay.
I feel like if you look at black entrepreneurs compared to white entrepreneurs, I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to define what we're talking about. Are you talking about? Because if I become an Uber driver, am I technically not an entrepreneur?
You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So what are you referring to when you say entrepreneur?
Creators, we want.
Creating jobs,
Job creation.
innovation,
Let's say job creation.
so that you can give other black
So
people an
business
opportunity.
owners and business.
Business
Yeah.
owners, yeah.
Okay.
You can put that so. Business owners. I feel like some of them, I'm not saying all of them, chase the money, and that's when they crash and burn. Whereas you find a lot of our counterparts that focus actually on the vision and the dream that they've had since they were young or whatever, and then just gone on to do crazy things, and all the money is just coming afterwards.
I don't know.
I
I think it's easy to say black. I would love to see the data that makes you think black entrepreneurs chase money.
No, I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of times, maybe this is the media or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting portrayed. Maybe I'm getting manipulated by the media. I don't know. But like, this is what I see as a person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all of them. But
What do you see?
A lot of them, they like. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but like, let's give 2 examples. Let's look at a really successful white entrepreneur. You wouldn't necessarily know that they've got money.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
Whereas if a black entrepreneur's got a bit of money, I'm not saying all of them, some of them, you could tell. And they might not even be.
So you're saying you're saying that we show it more basically.
You've got to look at other implications though. You've got to look at cultural implications.
Yeah.
Go to a white person's wedding now and then go to an African person's wedding.
Okay.
That alone will show you that we're just culturally so different. As in we're a lot more extrovert, a lot more flamboyant. We like to express ourselves.
Yeah.
So we express ourselves in our clothing, in the cars we buy, in the house. Like it's all an expression of.
Okay.
Sometimes the expression is from a wrong place, it's out of insecurity, but at the same time, it's an expression of who we are.
Okay.
So I think we would have to look at entrepreneur by entrepreneur and gauge their mindset, gauge if they were in a financial position to purchase what they put. There's so many other things I think we have to look at before saying that black people focus on money, white people don't.
I'm not saying
Do you know what I mean?
I guess I get what you're trying to say, but I'm just talking about what I can see.
Yeah. I guess I'm biased though, because I know what cars I'm going to be driving. You know what I mean?
Let us know, Will.
Tesla.
It's alright. But I've got the vision of what I'm going. Like, I know what cars I want to be driving, the type of house I want to have. Like, so maybe I am biased in defending what I want, if that makes sense. So maybe I'm not the best person, but at the same time, I just feel like also when you've come from nothing, those dreams help fuel you.
Okay.
Whereas
a lot come from nothing.
A lot of white entrepreneurs,
the white privilege,
their dad
white privilege,
had an amazing car. They grew up in an amazing house. So although they can go and get that, maybe they don't have as much of a desire or appetite for it because they weren't without it.
Absolutely.
So there's so many other wider issues you have to look at before saying black people love chasing money, white people don't.
But Will, also you need to think about it. You gave yourself as an example. You know what kind of car you want to drive. You know what kind of house you want to own. But like you're doing pretty well right now. But you still haven't, like, you've still not gone flamboyant yet because you know you haven't reached your end goal. But there'll be entrepreneurs that would essentially, you know, they'll see the kind of success that you've seen, and then that's their green light to go crazy. So
I
comes out to a mindset, right?
I don't think it's race. I think it's just planning and forward thinking. Because a white entrepreneur will raise 10 million from VC funds, blow it on a nice office, blow it on all these hires, like spend all this money, and then the business is like, how many times have you heard that from white entrepreneurs?
It's true.
And then ask yourself, how many times have you heard that from a black entrepreneur? You don't even get that chance. You don't get that stage. You don't get that opportunity. Yeah. So I think the desire for things is a part of human nature. I think black people are probably more culturally flamboyant and show themselves more. But I struggle to say black people do this, white people do that, because there's more aspects.
There's more to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm defending myself, so.
No, with me, I mean, I wasn't there to criticize anything. I was just there to shed a light on what I see as an external
That's what you see,
person, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I see, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it could be like rap music, or maybe it could be the athletes. I don't know.
It's that, isn't it? They're just marketing tools.
The thing is,
the big companies use them to market to us.
And who owns these big companies?
Yeah.
But when you think about the things you've mentioned, even rap music, like the way we speak it, like that's all from our culture. It's all from us. Like we are flamboyant people. But I don't. And as long as we're wise with our money, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the issue is when, especially the younger generation, think, oh, like, I've made all this money, let me spend it.
Yeah.
But the minute I receive any money, I'm thinking, cool, what can I sow that's going to give me... Like, I'd rather spend the fruit than the seed, if that makes sense. Like, I'd rather spend out of planting a seed and generating loads than spend the seed and have no fruit. So that
makes sense.
As long as that mindset's in, I think...
So you're basically saying when you get money, you like invest it in something else, and then whatever money you can get off of that investment is what you would live on.
Because like even this,
paycheck.
for instance, even this 100k, I could go and do a finance tomorrow and do a company car. But that's stupid because that's grands that could be going into Facebook ads every month that will generate me tens of grands. And from that tens of grands, I can get whatever car I want. So for me, it's about sow the seeds today. Like even with our Seeders campaign, it was so crazy to think like so many people were saying, "Oh, I invested because you spoke at an event for us for free 2 years ago. I invested because you helped me out with this." And, like these were things, just seeds I was sowing. So that's how I see it. When I get this money in, we're sowing it straight back in the business. We're gonna grow it in a massive way, and then from there it's easy for me to chop. But I'd rather do it that way.
Well, that's the correct way to.
Yeah.
That's the correct way to do it. Absolutely. And plus, it's investors' money as well.
He's got a new car. No, it's real talk. It's real talk.
What advice would you give to aspiring young
Entrepreneurs? Yeah, anyone that's looking to start up.
Yeah.
Study the game. Study, and understand your form of learning, and just dive deep into that. So for me, I get more from podcasts and reading books often, or like I'm an audio learner. So like with crowdfunding, I've literally listened to pretty much every single crowdfunding platform.
Really?
The crowdfunding podcast, there's a specific one called Crowdcrux. I've listened to every single episode, and all they do is interview people that had successful crowdfunding campaigns. Yeah. But like the information's out there.
Isn't it?
Just learn the game, study the game, and aim to be better than the guys killing it. Like aim high, study the game. There's no reason why you'll fail. Like the formulas are out there. You just have to apply it to what you're building.
I 100% agree.
I think a lot of the time, like the big problem now is that a lot of the young ones, or a lot of people that are coming up now, just think about quick money, fast money. So, like to your point, that you talking about, study the game, that's almost alien to them.
There's no shortcuts to winning. No. There are no shortcuts on this planet to winning. No one, unless anyway, we won't go down that path of privilege and all of that stuff. But I see it as there's no shortcuts to winning. So you just got to put yourself in a position to learn and to be ready to make mistakes, be ready to fail, be ready to understand from those failings and grow and build. I feel like failure is the greatest gift that God, the universe, however you like to believe, but I believe in God. But I feel like failure is the greatest gift God can give you. Yeah. Because I learned so much more from failures than I learned from wins and success.
It's the only time you learn.
It's the only time you learn. Yeah.
Very true.
And also, like, I just think people need to reframe their mindset.
But do you not think that comes from school though, where you're not allowed to fail?
It does
like,
come from school.
If you fail, then you're dumb or
I get that. I guess
that was my problem.
I guess
and
maybe
I'm now have to reprogram my mind to actually accept failure.
The way I look at failure, I don't even look at failure as failure. I look at it as a learning curve.
Yeah, but no one tells you that.
I can actually see where I went wrong.
No one told me that. I had to learn that myself.
Whereas if I always win, for example, I will never understand where I went wrong.
So you think you're perfect.
And when you always win, you often don't actually know what worked. You don't actually know what caused you to win. Like,
that's true.
You don't learn from it. You rarely ever learn from it.
And you notice that, like, all the successful people always go through that pain of failure, and the difference, what differentiates them from like everyone else, is that they just keep going and they keep going.
That's
and they just learn
the
from
Edison from the light bulb.
I think
that's 1,000 times before you got it right.
I don't know if the Edison thing's true though. I heard the light bulb filament was actually developed by a black person.
It was.
But
Wow.
Black people couldn't patent stuff back in them days.
Are you serious?
Patent under their white master, like someone they knew.
Exactly.
Crazy, man.
But that's for another day. But I've learned that I don't think your skill is your biggest strength or ability. It's your resilience. Like if you're able to keep going,
that's it,
and keep learning as you're going, you'll find the path. You'll find what clicks, what connects, what generates money, like what creates that system of automation. You'll get it, but you just have to keep going. Whereas most people will give up in the earlier stages.
That's true. That's true.
And I think to right now, you're not. It's not like you do everything yourself as well. You find people who can compensate where
you got to find people that are much better than you. Everyone in my team is better than me at what they do. And that's the focus. You can't have a team of people that just pander to what you want. It's just
and agree with everything you say.
And the beauty of failing is knowing your weakness, so you know how to hire. Like if you never fail, you don't really know what part of your game was weak, which caused you to fail.
Where you need to improve.
So you never know. You never know where to improve, who to bring on board. So like I see that, I know that, and I bring on the right people.
Sounds like you married the right person, Will.
100. She's been phenomenal. So we met in 2010. So we've known each other for 9 years. Been married for 5 years.
Wow.
So I think she's been like crucial in molding and shaping the man I am today. I wouldn't say she shaped me, but
Of course.
It was so fair, but she like kind of.
100%. Or like our relationship has helped shape me.
Yeah.
So I feel like marriage does something where it highlights to you your selfishness.
Okay.
Because you're in this tight space with another human being, and your time is on their schedule as well as their schedule on your time. So all of a sudden, you're not as free in a sense as you were, but you're more free than you ever were. Both at the same time. It's a crazy oxymoron. So I feel like I've learned so much through marriage that's helped shape me to be the person I am today. I think it's given me a certain like type of focus, and just who the person Claudia is amazing for like believing in me, like allowing us to use house savings to start Vitae.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
The
Like,
7K bit. Yeah.
That's amazing.
when you think about things like that, if I was with someone else, right now I'd probably be working a job, making really good money, but
And
not
be upset.
but
Not happy within yourself.
Not happy. So
Wow.
I'm super grateful.
Lee Buffett said you need to marry the right person,
Yeah,
the right
I mean,
woman.
Yeah.
That's the number one.
There's no point of getting into a relationship if it's not the right. That's the point. You're just wasting both each other.
100% agree, man.
For sure. And she's Ghanaian and Jamaican, which means I get the Caribbean.
Cheese.
I get some rice and peas next to my my jollof. You mix it up.
Dumplings.
I mean,
Well, Nigerian jollof, yeah?
No,
No, no.
don't make me sick. My jaws would be hench right now. If I ate Ghanaian and Nigerian jollof. The rice is too tough.
Too tough, boy.
All I'm
Even their
saying-
meat as well. You know that hard
The
chicken.
meat, what kind? You turn up to a whole party, and you know the chicken with the stew, and you're thinking,
You're
what am I
fighting
meant
with
to do?
I'm not gonna lie. I actually agree with you.
Whoa!
You're my deflecting, boy.
No,
What him?
when it comes
Treason.
To the meat, when it comes
This is
to the meat-
treason.
Now listen, when it comes to the meat,
You're
when it comes to the
outnumbered,
meat,
bro.
bro, I mean, it's
4
too
to
tough.
1.
Everything about Nigerian food is rough already. It's tough.
No.
The meat is too tough. You be eating the rice.
No,
Sometimes
the rice ain't that bad. The rice is
the rice is
Look at my man's face.
bullet rice.
The meat
It's
is
not like you should
that's
eat
the meat.
basmati. Nice, succulent rice. Nice green size.
Absolutely agree.
You eat it. It's like melting in your mouth. You eat Nigerian jollof and meat, and it's like
This
your
is
mouth has
treason.
gone to the gym.
Your mouth goes to the
Yo, man, this is
Yeah, I
treason.
just gotta be honest, fam. I just gotta be honest.
This is treason, guys. Guys, this is treason.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Man said treason.
wow.
4 to 1.
Yo, all my Nigerian people, I still love you.
Yeah,
Treason.
big up Nigeria.
We love them really.
Yeah, I love Nigerian. Nigerian.
We love them, man.
But yeah, okay, cool. I see. But yeah, William, thank you for giving us some of your time.
Thanks,
I
man.
really appreciate it. And yeah, man, if you guys, I don't know, do you want to give them your socials so that they can know?
Nah, I don't. I'm kidding. So my personal social media across all platforms is just my full name. So William followed by Adoasi, which is Adoasi, and then you can follow the brand as well, which is Vitae London, Vitae across all platforms. So yeah, that's us.
All right then, thank you. Just follow the podcast on Instagram. That is MBC Podcast. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like it, subscribe, post, comment, tag your friends, share.
Tag your mom, tag your dad,
Jeez.
tag your cousin. Do it.
It's a dude.